What's going on?
Hey, I didn't ask first. I'm recording.
Yeah.
Hi, uh,
I
how
gotta.
you guys?
Good. How was your day?
Good, yeah. Finished up the wooden cladding in this bathroom addition.
Oh,
Just got off, and I didn't leave the job, so here I am on the job site. I thought it was fitting.
all right. Cool.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, yeah. Putting up some local incense cedar tongue and groove, uh,
Oh,
Nice.
milled by the Linden Mill on Ski Village, and
Oh, cool.
installed in this bathroom addition. Yeah,
Nice. It looks really good.
yeah, it does.
yeah. It's a really clean product. I'm very happy with the outcome.
Nice.
Yeah.
I
I
like
like
that.
that.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks very
It look
it
very,
does look really clean, and then
yeah,
the tile and everything, it looks pretty like modern, but also not like cold and sterile, Like all that wood warms it right up.
and it's local,
It
so
sure does. Wood has a lot of character, and it can always kind of bring the warm, artistic touch into an otherwise angular and plain space.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. All concrete and gross.
yeah, and I really do the natural forms of wood. Right next to, in this case, a very large format tile that has pretty minimal variation in it. It's satisfying to me.
Yeah.
There'll be trim between them on this. I haven't done the trim yet, but having them next to each other, I think, is fun.
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, they look really good.
Awesome.
Real clean.
Well, thanks for taking time out of your day. We know, it's a lot to juggle and you got the wife at home and everything. So we don't want to keep you too late.
No worries. Thanks for having me on here.
Yeah. So, as we know, there's kind of two pieces to the call. Like we want to get a little feedback on the Ohana Connect mixer, and we also want to do a little more of a deep dive. And I know we're gonna have another conversation later after your next workshop that you're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we want to learn a lot more about your business as well. So, as far as like with the mixer that we had last month. Like how's things been going since then? Like anything good, anything different happened since then?
Any new connections you made over there? And
Yeah, I'm still intending to connect with someone that I met who does breathwork sessions in town. I love doing breathwork, and it was nice to hear that there's some community doing it up here. And so, actually, at the event, we discussed a trade of time because they're looking to put together an event space, um, and I, of course, love their practice. So. The discussion is I'll consult on some construction stuff with them, and they'll lead a session or two of breath work
Oh,
for
cool.
me.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
all about however you can create a win-win, that's good for everybody.
yeah, it was a wonderful outcome of the mixer. Yeah.
Yay, perfect.
nice.
Okay. Yeah, and I know I talked to Anastasia last night when we were, off I was still talking to you
Oh,
actually. I thought
yeah.
we were wrapping up and then Anastasia called and then we were talking and she actually had an appointment today to take her dog Foxy to go meet with Greg who does the Chinese
Uh,
medicine dogs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's getting Foxy all set up for care over there. So we got all kinds of cool things firing off.
She's just like, I never would have met him if we didn't go to the mixer. We never would have found each other. I was like, oh, that's super cool.
Yeah.
That's nice.
yeah, grateful for all of the interconnections that you guys are bringing together, in the community. That's, I think, a big part of what you're doing as a whole,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's working.
Yeah, it's
It's
working.
so important. It's so important.
Ducks
Um,
fly together.
it's true. Okay, so Evan, how long have you been in Mount Shasta? Have you always been here or
Yeah, so my wife, then girlfriend, now wife, Kirsten, and I moved up here about 6 years ago.
okay?
Uh, Yeah. And that was pandemic times, 2020, you know. We left Santa Cruz, uh, sort of on a bit of a Hail Mary adventure, and lived up here in several different situations: a tent first,
Ooh,
a vehicle, uh, through the winter, in fact,
wow.
and real introduction our first
Yeah.
year
No
to
kidding. From Santa Cruz to Mount Shasta winter.
Wow.
yeah. Yeah, but such a wonderful experience, and Shasta, um, the connections that were made then have lasted and sort of borne a lot of fruit from the rest of our time here. A lot of people helped us out. We really felt taken in at the time, and it's only deepened since.
Well,
And
yeah, and then the two of you, you said you weren't even married yet, so you made it through that. It was either you're gonna get married now or you are gone.
Definitely not getting there though. So good for you guys.
yes, exactly.
That's so funny.
My experience was the opposite. When
Oh,
I came here with a girlfriend a long time ago, yeah, that 2 weeks later, the mountain just said deuces.
good. The mountain is
Mountain is quick, man. She's fast.
It's either gonna work or it's
It's
not.
really gonna work, or it's just really not. Really fast.
How did you guys decide to come to Mount Shasta?
I had been here just a few months prior on a mountaineering trip.
Mhm.
Uh, I like to climb, and so had just come for a summit, basically, another mountain at the time, but quickly realized that it was not just any mountain. And during that trip, actually, decided to move here and called my folks and said, "Well, moving to Mount Shasta." And they said, "What? Doing what?"
That's so funny. Are your parents in Santa Cruz?
No, Sonoma County.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Santa,
So not too far, but
no, yeah. So I went to university in Santa Cruz
oh, okay. That makes sense.
right when the pandemic was kicking off, and stuck around for most of the rest of that year before moving here.
Got you. Okay. All right.
Nice.
Well, so what got you into like construction?
An early interest as a child, actually, and I some of that to work that was being done in the house that my parents bought on a teacher's salary and remodeled when I was very young.
Yeah.
Uh, so as a kid, it's not like there was a whole lot of that going on in the suburbs at my house, but I had a deep interest. And as I got old enough to use tools and use them to an effect, I was pretty much immediately making little things. That kind of continued through high school. I got really into the maker spaces in Sonoma County, and did some stuff with my school to that end. That was a lot more technology focused,
Mhm.
robotics, certainly some carpentry, and I loved carpentry.
Hmm.
At the time, there was a little bit more of an engineering thing going on. Uh, and that all until university, when I had my first real project of carpentry, which was a conversion of a tiny home. Basically, it was an old box ambulance, so square walls,
Yeah.
flat roof, and converted that into a living space for myself at university, because there was no way I was going to be able to afford to work full time, school full time, tuition. No, it wasn't going to happen. So saved a lot of money living in Santa Cruz. Um, and shortly after graduating from university, had my first professional carpentry gig with a mentor that I think very fondly of. We weren't working together very long. His name was Dave Dean in Scotts Valley, and we he was sort of like my original carpentry dad in certain ways. Just a really professional craftsman, really devoted to his trade, doing some really wonderful things with wood in the Santa Cruz Mountains. And so we worked together for the summer. I then got a job with the general contractor, and that was all shortly before moving up here. So the beginning of my professional education down in Santa Cruz, and then moving up here, got in with a then very small band of carpenters that later evolved into the Mount Shasta Builders Cooperative.
No.
So if that rings any bells with you guys or with any of the rest of the audience that could be watching, but the Mount Shasta Builders Cooperative was a general contractor in Mount Shasta. I treated my time there as sort of a journeyman carpentry experience and educational trip. It was great. I learned a lot, made some really good connections. We disbanded a few years later. And since then, I've become independently licensed as a general contractor. I've still kept my trade of carpentry, but have, as a general builder, also gotten into other stuff. You have to.
Yeah.
You don't have to, but you should. Yeah. And so, yeah, at this point, it's been probably 7 years of professional carpentry and a few fewer as an independent general contractor.
Okay.
Nice.
Would you say like the woodworking is like your passion out of all the different pieces of what you do?
Wood is my medium.
Yeah.
Nice.
You can tell by the way you look when you talk about it. Yeah. Awesome.
It's amazing material. I can't say enough about it. Yeah.
It's like really versatile, you know? You can
Green-
do so many things with it.
Yeah, and beautiful and consistently unique. It's extremely workable. Of I love creating clean lines with natural grain. I love that contrast. It can be extremely strong, but you don't even need power tools, to work it. You really don't.
Yeah.
It's really like the perfect middle way material for so many things, and it has its limitations. And of course, I love everything else too, or most other things as well. Stone. I hate to say it, but I also really appreciate concrete. I think you can do some really incredible things with concrete. I'm not at the level of mastery with concrete.
Yeah. Well, you can form it in so many different shapes too.
Yes, and that's where the wood comes in again. I'm a very competent concrete former,
Yeah.
just because of the carpentry, which is
Yeah.
how you.
How you
Yeah.
make the frames to
right.
make the different shapes. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. That's awesome. Do you keep in touch with Dave still?
Dave Dean.
Yeah.
No, some things to understand about Dave Dean. He's not the kind of person to really have a phone.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's I've sent a letter or two to his PO box, but you can't pin down Dave.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. That says a lot.
Just side note, we met. He was living at a shelter that I was working at the time,
Yeah.
and that's often the case with really talented carpenters. They undervalue work in many cases. In order to do the kind of work that they want to be doing, which is art.
Right.
And he was true, the truest carpenter in that way. Just so focused on doing the most beautiful work he could that I don't think he ever made a dime.
Right.
Um,
I
but
think there's a lot of people we have that same thing, like artists absolutely, but I think a lot of us that way, like you're doing the thing you're passionate about. It's like either you're not worried about the money as much or you like you said you tend to undervalue a lot of times. That's something that I think we would really like to help people
Yeah.
like grow out of. We want to see everybody be able to do their passion and what they're brilliant at and also be rewarded and have everybody have a more thriving lifestyle and not have to struggle.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I can see a community of self-employed people being a really good check on individuals, making sure that they're charging enough. doing
Yes.
what they're worth.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And that we're all reinforcing that with each other and,
Right.
reciprocating with each other too.
Right.
We can have a nice little give and take and it can circulate through the whole community.
Right. We haven't gone into depth about all the different things that Ohana Connect is going to be offering. But a big one is going to be an accountability partnership. So everyone's going to be partnered with everybody. So you might find three crafters, or construction people, or general contractors. Everybody underneath the niche or the industry that they're in. Now everyone is assigned into small pods, and
Yeah.
every month you guys have to talk to each other,
Yeah.
report in challenges, weaknesses, strengths, refer whatever's
Yeah.
conversations, and every month someone's going to come back and talk to me and make sure that everybody was talked to. And if some people got issues like the financial dip, or a business needs the front of their business painted, well, then we're now doing a service project.
Yeah.
Now everybody's coming together on a random Saturday, and we're all going to help this business paint up
Oh,
something,
cool.
Yeah.
so it's going to end up becoming like that.
Yeah.
So again, if there's a lot of our people here in Mount Shasta that are true artists, but they don't quite ring the bell
Yeah.
of like their worth,
Yeah.
and they're intimidated by that worth. And we're hoping that when you partner up with people in an accountability partnership, you're going to be
Yeah.
surrounded by people that reflect your value and say, charge more. You
Yeah.
need to charge higher. You need this, your service, your fuel, your trade, your art. What are you worth? $50 an hour? Perfect. Throw that in there too.
Right.
What's your liability? These are your realistic prices.
Yeah.
It needs to be up here for a belt blew out, the saw broke. You need to fix your machines.
Right.
Don't be scared of, don't take it down here. You need to keep it up there. And if we surround you with people like that, in theory, I call them classy hippies. I
Yeah.
call them, so we're all like meditative, breath work, crystal loving, sound bath loving, mountain loving, nature loving, and we're third dimensional brick and mortar business, legal, lawyer, and contracts and closing deals, and we all make 100 grand each or more.
We can bridge
We
the
can
two
do
worlds
both.
together. Yeah.
We can be
Yeah.
both. And so that's piece of our Ohana Connects. And
Yeah.
so
Like everyone will serve and be served at the same
you
time.
have mandatory.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of other aspects inside of Ohana Connect that we're unfolding for everybody slowly, but
It's a
it's
process.
a process. But we even us at times our offers, we even feel like, are we too expensive for,
Yeah.
is my offer too much? $10 an inch for a stump grinder, is that too much? I'm hearing what the market is saying, but I know my value. And
Yeah.
for my
No,
radiance, yeah, to
that's
be
where
here. Right,
real local economy is in what our real needs are.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so maybe you are different because your value is up there, because your handcrafted, your eye, your experience
Yeah.
is worth,
Mhm.
something a higher price than the rest of the competition.
Because
Maybe
you bring
that's
something special that nobody else can do. And
period.
that's why people want to hire you. It's
Period.
because it's not the same as everybody else.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and if we can help with like this, you talking, people fall in love with you,
Yeah.
your style of
Yeah.
woodwork,
Yeah.
your thinking,
It's true.
your thoughts, your
Yeah.
personality, your speech, your love for wood and how it works. There's customers out there that only ring a bell with your fingerprint on it,
Yeah.
your thumbprint. They're your perfect people. Just need to know that you exist, and they will gladly pay what you're already worth. See, there's billions of people on the planet. There's gajillions of word of mouth out here. We're cousins with Ashland. We're cousins with Sedona. We're cousins with so many chakra points. Word of mouth travels, and our perfect customers have to
Yeah.
know that we exist. And so
It's
we
such a
just,
critical part of marketing is connecting yourself with the kinds of work that you want to be doing.
right,
Exactly.
exactly,
Exactly.
Be working on, you know, prevailing wage, normal stuff that has no personal interest to me and would ultimately turn what I love into
Yeah.
yeah, grind, yeah,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
right,
Exactly.
And the power of marketing is to keep me doing what I love.
right,
Exactly. That's the whole point. So obviously we could tell when we were talking about the wood and all that, you're going into that. So what are like your favorite things to build?
Hmm.
I have a long list.
Okay.
Good, good.
Give us a few. What are your favorites?
Rattle some off. I really, so first off, I'll just say I love saunas. I think that they're probably the most straightforward way to create an art project with wood that is entirely wood.
Mm,
Um,
Right, right, right.
um,
Some,
Useful, uh, helpful, healing. Uh, I think saunas are probably my favorite thing to build.
nice.
Um, I'm not limiting myself. There are other things that of course would hold a lot of value, but I love building saunas. The ability to the ability to create a space that is intended for a very specific purpose, that is small enough to be affordable,
mm,
that is entirely built with wood or 95%. I can stay 100% in my craft the whole time.
Yeah.
Small enough to be manageable with a single person so that I myself can just stay on the whole project, dive right in, get through it solo. That can be really satisfying. And then just the opportunity, because of the context of it being a healing space, a place for revitalization and renewal, it's implicit that there be art involved.
mm,
And so I'm able to consistently utilize my creative capacities for not only, uh, you know, interior spaces and exterior facades, but also just the cultivation of, for lack of a more specific term, spiritual principles in a space. What will be truly uplifting to the human spirit, and the concentration of that effort is what I love so much about saunas.
mm.
Nice.
Yeah, you can see how like it encompasses like all of the most important things that you love all in one project.
Yeah,
Plus, I love the wood and cedar and the wood or the custom wood that you're making. It has a frequency.
Hmm.
yes,
Wood alone by itself has a healing frequency and it radiates. And so if you got heat and stone and concrete and water and steam and or
yeah,
animal, the whole place is a chamber of healing.
yes.
It's awesome. So that just makes sense.
Contains all the elements of water and earth and mineral, and
Right. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
that way it's reflective of a wide variety of elements, as well as reflective of our own bodies and the healing potential of our own bodies and just the way that things move in the world. I find myself very much feeling like kin to wood.
Mm.
Um, I feel like, yeah, I sometimes I feel like a piece of lumber,
A big
in a
hunk
good,
of wood.
It's just a big hunk of wood.
related.
That's so funny. All right. Well, do you feel like you make your whole business out of just building saunas, or would you have to add a few other types of projects in there?
Yeah, I don't do it alone. Anything in too high a concentration, I think, would probably be
Too
uh,
much.
outside my energy. So, uh, yeah, a lot of stuff. ADUs come to mind in this moment. Uh,
Nice.
Homes. Uh, as a general contractor, I'm licensed to build new construction residential, and so uh, creating spaces to also house people is very important to me.
Yeah.
ADUs, tiny houses, tiny house ADUs,
Yep.
especially because they're at a size that is relatable to me. Um, the modern McMansion is kind of outside my scope or my scale.
Yeah.
I don't mean at that, spot. I like a small home, 600 square feet or under
Yeah.
is kind of residential construction that I'm interested in.
Okay.
And
Okay.
yeah,
Perfect. Okay. Um, so Evan,
yeah.
how do you want people to feel after working with you? Like after you've finished a project for them, what do you want them to feel?
Mm.
Mm.
I want to feel like they and their space has been thoroughly respected is important, I think. I want them to feel uplifted by the improvements or the new construction. I want them to feel inspired by the space. That feels critical, because I believe that built spaces should be inspiring and should be uplifting. I would like people to feel that they received good value. I don't know that that necessarily means that I want them to feel they paid bottom dollar or they got a steal of a deal,
Yeah.
but I want people to feel that they got a good value economic out of the project. And a lot of that has to do with just how skillful I am in that process and
Absolutely.
prior to full skill to that end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
high quality, good craftsmanship, not cheap.
Yeah, excellence. Ring
Excellent.
a bell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But because there's nothing more expensive than building a cheap house twice.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Totally agree.
Right.
100%.
And it also comes down to your marketing and your vision, your purpose, that your expectations or your, managing the process ahead of time. If you keep saying what you are and what you do and how you do it, then only those perfect customers are going to come to you. And
Exactly.
everyone else that hears your message that doesn't ring with you will automatically repel themselves. Right. And so only the best customers that's expecting what you've already put out there
Yeah,
can
and
match
consistent with
it. Yeah.
well, because I'll be getting inquiries for everything forever, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just general contract, that's not going to stop.
Mm-mm.
Um,
Mm-mm.
Collective and marketing for the things that I want to be doing keeps me where I ought to be.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Evan, what's something in your work that you refuse to compromise on, even when it would be easier to?
Hmm. There are a lot of answers for that in construction. Um, and a lot of them are just obvious. Safety,
Yeah.
Right?
the one like I'm I'm open to doing some funny stuff, but only if it's going to be completely safe.
Yeah.
Art can toe the line in many moments.
Right.
Yeah.
So certainly a structure that is going to be strong and not fall over on somebody and not fall over on somebody in 50 years.
Yeah.
Long is another one. Um, I think that longevity is probably a number two there, because it's easy to build a bad house.
Yeah. Right.
In fact,
Laziness. Yeah.
the easiest way to build a house is to build a bad one. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Not that it's often that it's not often that the that some major discrepancy is offered to me. I mean, building is a very methodical, and I'm not often presented with a choice that is just going to knock the whole thing down.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
Staying consistent in my choices on a minute to minute, hour to hour basis, of being thorough and making sure that whatever I'm doing is geared toward the ultimate longevity of the structure. That feels very important to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
I do not, I would say that perfection is not something that I'm unwilling to compromise. If somebody has a project and they don't have a high standard for it, it's a garden fence for their compost area and they have a very small budget for it. I consider myself in that situation to be the person who can deliver a project for what they're able. And in that case, I am willing to let certain tolerances open up and let let the line not be just the crispest little thing along the
Yeah.
bottom of a window because ultimately my work is for other people
Right.
and be responsive to what they're actually asking for.
Right.
And I can't always just blow spending 2 hours on this scribe, you know. Uh, so that's something that's important to me, but it's not something that I can't compromise because I think it's important in moments to be reflexive to people's needs.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Especially when it comes to something like that, where it's like more being perfectionist about the minor details where it may not be the best interest for this particular project, right? Yeah.
And there are really good builders who won't compromise that.
Right.
And it's a temperament thing. And I love those guys and they do in moments where I'm with them, we're, you know, on the same page. And I also want to be reasonable with expectations. You know, if you want something simple, I'd like to be able to provide that.
Perfect.
Right.
Okay. So it sounds like you're able to be pretty responsive to what the is called for that particular project. So I do just want to give you a heads up. We're on the economical free Zoom plan. So I have 8 minutes left. So just keep that kind of timeline in your mind. So if we could, I feel like we've gotten some really good tidbits on your business so far.
Yeah.
If we could check in a little bit of feedback on the mixer. What can you walk me through a little bit as far as the event goes? Like, what do you remember the most from the event? Was like there a moment that kind of surprised you, or like how would you describe it to somebody who wasn't there?
Yeah. The word I would use for the very first mixer, which I think is the one we're talking about at
Yeah.
Clandestine, would be eclectic. It was a wide variety of
Yeah, it
individuals.
was.
Really appreciated about it. Connections that would not ordinarily be made were
Yes.
made. So I didn't talk to any other builders, you know. I
Yeah.
talked healers.
Mhm.
I talked to healers. There were
And healers. Yeah.
a politician, uh,
Right, right.
a lot of people. And so in the way of creating connections that I ordinarily wouldn't have, it was very, very successful to that end. Yeah. The the I'm curious as it progresses if you'll start to develop more individuals working in more conventional businesses because it felt like it was a lot of unconventional businesses and individuals who are very inspired and doing something a little different. And I'm curious how you intend to involve just the shopkeepers and the you know the pharmacy. You know, not that that's necessarily a small business. I think there was one at the Ray Shopping Center. But
Right.
are you focusing on the boutique?
Yeah, Main Street.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're actively pursuing like a wide range. We want the more traditional businesses too, because they're a huge part of the local economy. And I think too, as we bring more of the Ohana Connect card, the promo card in, that
Right.
I think will be really beneficial for those businesses, especially because that's like the Main Street stuff where the general public is going to want to come and take advantage of those promotions.
Right. It was the beginning stages. Another one was Chris. Chris was there.
Yeah.
He's the owner of Veterans Club,
Mhm.
and we work really close with him on other projects too. So this is just the beginning of the future projects that's coming. But yeah, no, as time goes on, I mean, I think we just got a handful of memberships now that we can finally start to do the Facebook targeting marketing
Mhm.
Yeah.
per zip code. And so it just means that the more memberships come in, the more we can take a zip code and push Ohana Connect. And now all those front Main Street owners and departments, they're going to start seeing it all over Facebook, and there's not a thing you can do to stop it.
And it makes sense that the more fringe businesses would be the first ones looking because it's a new thing.
Right.
So as it gets more established, then those other more traditional businesses will see it more and they'll come on board.
And another thing we did is we went to the weed mixer and we went to the Mount Shasta mixer, the one week after us, I think.
Yeah.
And I think the Mount Shasta mixer is having another one a month from now. And I think the weed mixer is next month too. But at the weed mixer was all of those conventional uh just business owners from there too. Like Mount Shasta has a unique Mount Shasta night mixer. You won't find people that's in a Mount Shasta
That's true.
mixer
Anywhere
in
else.
Wairika
Right.
mixer.
Yeah.
You
It's
won't.
gonna just have more
Mount
variety.
Shasta is the only place you'll have 9 out of 10 healers.
We're almost out of time.
Yeah, inside of there, and you won't find that in Scotts Valley. You'll find not at 9 out of 10 farmers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
We got it.
Back
Yeah,
and being responsive to that as well, because ultimately you are dealing with what is present in the area.
Right.
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 And so the more that people see, we're 1 month old to the established business owners, and they've seen us for 1 year, which still to a lot of established business owners is not a long time. But I think they see the tenacity and they see the results and they see what we're doing. So it'll take some time, but word of mouth is really getting out. They're
Yeah,
they're coming.
people will start to find it. You probably, most of the first turnout was probably social media only. I know that's how I about it.
Exactly.
As it continues as an event, now there's a completely different way of finding out about it, way of accessing it through word of mouth, through physical. It's happening. Now we know about it.
Yeah.
We have about 10 shares on top of our mixer now from county politicians, like you said. At least two of them shared it.
Oh
So
yeah,
yeah. So as they share it, that's new circles that we've
Oh, yeah.
never met in the county, and the supervisor at District 3, Mario, everybody, and weed mixers and weed chamber, 10 other people shared it today. So
yeah.
those go into
I,
circles that we don't know about.
so not worried about that element, and looking forward to seeing how it evolves. In terms of the people there and the topics discussed and these different
Yeah, it'll be fun.
ideas about accountability. It's all very good.
Yeah. We're excited about it.
All right, you got a minute and 20 seconds.
I know I had a few more questions I want to get to. We're going to run out of time.
How can people get a hold of you? Website, phone numbers, stuff like that.
Say again.
How can people get a hold of you? If people want to get a hold of you,
Oh yeah, contact information.
yeah, contact information.
Yeah, the phone's great. 530-859-5359. Days, but 24 hours, 7 days a week on the email. That's evandrakeconstruction@gmail.com.
Nice.
Yeah, email's easy. So send me pictures. That's always really helpful on the island. Or if you just see me at Berryville,
Yeah,
say
right.
hi.
See you at the mixer, then you know.
Cool.
At the
Right.
It's going to cut off
It's going to cut off any moment now, so we better get
All
out of
good.
here.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah, I might follow up with a few of the last questions that we didn't get to, but yeah, we appreciate you.
Yeah.
It's been nice learning more.
Appreciate you guys doing this. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see you soon. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Alrighty, bye.
Bye.